Hello there, welcome back to the Aether Keep. I will be your host, John Stewart. Welcome back to the Not Quite Daily Show. Smash that like button if you remember when, and we are talking about player phase today. Let's take a look at this team I've put together. It's Gen 6 bonus in Chaos Season, remember, so OG Asker and Brave Crom, both bonus units, both good Gale Forcers, both well equipped to handle many things. But as you can probably determine, the star of the show here is Gullveig. Brave Gullveig. The Veg. And, here we're taking a calculated gamble because we know we can get away with it. But, you might notice that I am using both Askers. Trio Asker, if you will. Weird that there's two of them and that's true, but so it goes. And, I know that I love that in Chaos Season you can just do that to Byleth, first of all. That's amazing. Has not been as auspicious outside Chaos Season for my testing, but it worked here and that's what matters. So we can get rid of the forest save, and we actually get a great chance to snipe the Dancer, which is pretty much the best start you can get to a team like this, right? Now they still have Hinoka up, which means the range isn't something we can laugh at, and in fact, here I take a pause to figure out what's going on because I hadn't really considered the fact that they were going to have one more range than I'd been led to believe. But as I figure out what to go, I just want to talk about... I know that, well, first of all, I got inspired to start trying some more, well-formed Gullveig strategies after watching some DTM videos. And as DTM has sold us, sort of the standard way to set up the AoE would be Valoria. Look at what a Giga Chad Duo Asker is. I am so happy I invested the Brave Storm Fodder into them. It just... I mean, it doesn't even really matter there. Like, I think base kit would have done just fine, but I like powering up that unit. They do so many things that are so much fun. But, so Valoria is sort of the standard, right? And you can see that I'm not doing that. And that is because I find it to be a little... And I mean no shade to anyone here, but for the kind of content I like to make, it just feels a little bit normcore, you know? And I wanted to mix it up, get a little weird and wild, so we have the incredibly clumsy double Asker comp, which is mostly clumsy because this team is made up of 4 units from Heroes and Crom, and if you didn't know, the Asker's C-skill only activates if there is a unit not from Heroes within 2 spaces, so it actually limits the turn 1 arrangements quite a bit, but thankfully, between Smite on Asker, Changed Fate, or whatever it's called on Crom, we have a lot of options, and we're just able to space pretty nicely. But now, the thing about this match that I thought was very interesting was that I had just kind of assumed that Camilla wouldn't be a problem. We get a bonus kill there, which is always nice. I just kind of assumed that she wouldn't be a problem. Now here we're lucky enough to snipe a pot for free, and Crom has literally all the options in the world to take whatever vantage point he wishes. But how are we going to deal with this Camilla? How are we going to get to that pot? She's creating 2 very large issues. And I kind of just figured, like, Asker probably has more res. Asker, in fact, doesn't have more res. I thought maybe Gullveig's DR will do the job. Gullveig's DR will not do the job. So what do I do about this thing? I had to go deep in the tank to figure this out. So we're just going to skip forward a tiny little bit. And what I realized was that I had 4 units with great mobility options in position to do something very silly. I knew that was the real trap because of testing the fake one earlier. So we are able to actually 4-unit box in Camilla, which solves exactly one problem. There were 2, you might recall. But sometimes you gotta do things piecewise, if that is in fact what that word means. It's been a minute. So here, Crom is never passing that res check, and he is never living any magical hit when he's at 1 HP. It's just not gonna happen. Maybe if he had like 32 bonuses or something, we'd get somewhere, but this team doesn't quite get there. It's not that kind of team, although it is a little bit close, I will give you that much. So the crazy thing here, remember, Asker actually does have an impressive amount of, regular Asker has an impressive amount of resistance. He could probably actually get in and do something. I decided not to bet my chickens on that.
I'll handle this.
Because, first of all, you have to get the pot. Gotta get the pot. And then, I was doing out the math, and I realized that if we clear the res debuff on Asker, I think he actually has a higher resistance stat than Camilla, and will hit through. I was wrong, but I got the right answer anyway. It turns out Seal Res is crazy, and essentially makes it always as if your res is debuffed by 7. Kinda has that effect built into it, unless you nullify the debuff, but I don't. But what I do have is a particular set of skills, which includes a delirious amount of true DR. So we can just take those tanks, hit the flare to flex, get some HP back, and it's wonderful. What a team. I had a lot of fun using these guys. So in this one, we have another team full of things that are very annoying, in that between Chrom and Ninian, there's a lot of chase. They have Camilla, so DR doesn't do anything for you. Well, percent DR doesn't do anything for you. And your stats are going to get sabotaged into the ground. So what do? And the answer, as you can probably guess, is we are going to abuse our movement, because we have a lot of movement options here between Chrom, Peony, and Gullveig. I can do a lot of things, including test this trap for free. I mean, you go on turn 1, Corrin doesn't have the terrain up, it's a lot easier to punch through that thing, still weirdly close, and we can gamble that trap at no risk. Actually, I think since the other one was real, we knew it was fake, so I could take that play. Yes. And then we can get out. Now, the thing that I didn't realize here was that, see, I didn't look at the third row down, so I didn't see that their catapult was actually in a position to hit my safety fence. I would love to tell you that I calced out, like, who moves first, interactions with fire tiles, and knew that I'd be safe. I didn't. This team is just strong and flexible enough that you can be a little bit wrong and still get away with it. Now, Robin, proving to be a difficult player, as always, but we can actually do it with Asker because bonus stats go nuts, and when you can get your bonus kill off the table like that, it tends to be a good idea to just do. But here's the really cool part. It looks like the correct play here is just to pull back, right? But I was just telling you something about how this team has such a huge amount of possibilities in the movement. One of those possibilities is going to be just going in even further, because it's 2 charge on Gale Force means I get Gale Force unless there's tempo and or guard. Defensive tempo and or guard. We take down Camille, get the Gale Force, do a little bit of self-deprecation, I guess, and Canto Rem +1, we get way out of there, and from here, I mean, I don't think there's much else to be said. It's a little annoying to kite it around and get the pots, but we get the job done, and I'm not going to waste your time showing it off. So, on to one more, that's right, you get 3 player phase plays today's, because I'm recording this on Valentine's Day, and I loves you, but not in a weird way, not in a parasocial way. Okay, on to that. It wouldn't be a player phase video if we didn't have the desert map, and I refuse to use the desert map. Why do I refuse to use the desert map? You're about to see why I refuse to use the desert map. It is for a little reason that I like to call flyers exist. I know that that is also the thing that makes it strong. It does give Hinoka lines an incredible amount of potential threat range, but if I have the flying unit, or even really if I just have, like, Smite to get over the mountain, we can do crazy boy things like this. See, I don't even have to gamble the trap here, because I'm a flyer and I can just move over it with the dance. And with Hinoka off the map, because there's no savior to protect her, it kind of kneecaps the enemy team's range, which means we get freebie DB safety fence, because this time I fixed the blindness in my right eye. it might look like I'm pointing at an eye that isn't on my right, but I guarantee you that it is in the real world where I'm doing it. Since I fixed whatever was wrong there, I can now see that there is a catapult on the map that is not at the top, and I actually will smack it. I promise you I do. I really hit it. There it is. It's gone.
I'll handle this.
So from here, it's kind of just like the best possible scenario, but we're going to use a little bit of tricky warp courtesy of Peony, because I'm not even using like the new one that people think is really good. This is the old one, just in case I need to squeeze one extra action, and she still gives me all the movement in the world to just take a really annoying stance and get things done. So once again, too much movement. Get the bonus KO. Get off Gale Force, even despite guard, which is really nice, because I'm not sure if I had accounted for the guard factor there. And,
I'll handle this.
he'll handle this, is pretty much all there is to say. We can get the Dancer off the board, which removes all remaining unpredictability. I guess there's, like, Oath on Golvig, but the current board doesn't really allow her to use that to move in a way that is unusual. So it's pretty easy, pretty clean from here. That one pot in the corner is going to be a little bit of a problem, but we get there in a way. Well, we'll get there. We'll get it. We'll get it done. Don't you worry. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. So we're gonna just abuse Crom's crazy movement, grab that pot, don't have to worry about it anymore, and a million turns have passed in the time I skipped ahead. Or actually, just it's really like every other turn, so it's you didn't miss anything at all. We can get rid of the terrifying 1 HP on that Golvig, and AoE Freya as a little bonus. Not terribly difficult to finish this job, and it really... This was the easiest chaos season I had in a long time, I feel like. Just... The extra slaying effect from Emblem Marth, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, but is a key part of this team that made it work so well, really just changes player phase. It's a whole new world now. So, hey, thanks for watching. Press subscribe if you had a good time, and I'll be back soon with more Fire Emblem Heroes, so till then.